You see the control rule informal form and in the implementation form is nearly the same. And the same way, you can look at the dissertation, you see the implementation of a Deontic Petri net is naturally improper.
Well, let me just make a simple comment. This word computability is not the right word to use. In computer science, it means something what is computable, what is not computable. This is more like whether it's implementable, reliable in computer terms. It's
implementability.
implementability.
I was thinking that when he said that the first time.
Right.
Wanted to know what that was going to go with that.
Sure. That's what sounds very familiar for me. Maybe it's in here. Maybe. Yeah, thank you.
That really is work.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. The most important thing is the practical relevance. I use the 14 test cases of international payment procedure of the two famous payment procedures used in international trade, especially the documentary credit procedure. This accounts for like 70% of the payment transaction used in international trade. And I built many different scenarios, including contracting. That means how the people come together to establish various contracts involved in the documentary credit. In your documentary credit, there are multiple parties involved in the transaction. The seller, the buyer, the issuing bank, the advising bank, confirming bank, negotiating bank, and so forth. So there is a network of contract, a sale contract between the buyer and the seller, a credit contract between the buyer and the issuing bank, and a confirmed contract between the confirming bank and the seller, and so forth. There's a network of complicated contracts. So in the dissertation, I have presented the validation based on examination of scenario of the establishment of the contract, as well as fulfillment of the contract. And the result of that is 14 scenarios, as I see here. I mean, from two procedures, and we consider various situations, come up with 14 different scenarios. And the results show that all of control requirements stipulated in the procedure by the International Chamber of Commerce could be derived automatically by the method provided here. So the key thing is that I model the underlying Deontic process of these two procedures in different scenarios and generate control requirement. And use the result to compare, again, the detailed control requirements stipulated by the International Chamber of Commerce, the organization that issue standardization and convention for the procedure. The surprising thing is that all of the results show that all of the control requirements stipulated in the procedure can be derived by the method.
So it would be, excuse me,
Go ahead.
it would be interesting to have some data
Yes.
to test, actually test the scenarios against.
Yeah, sure. We have the demo.
It's difficult to have the data sets.
Right.
Right. And so what you're saying here is that you've tested 14 scenarios, and by extrapolation, the whole thing works?
Maybe it's
Am I
not the
missing
whole
the-
network.
Am I missing, am I restating that correctly?
Okay. Yeah, let me explain again. Maybe I'm not clear enough. Okay. So the test case here, I use two international payment procedures. That's it, cash in advance and documentary procedure. There are two payment procedures. For one procedure, there are very many different scenarios. The procedure may be in documentary credit, for instance. You may have a confirmed documentary credit. You may have a non-confirmed documentary credit, and so forth. There's different situations or different specific cases, right? And come up with the specific cases in 14 scenarios. Each scenario is a specific situation. Right. In each of the specific situation, the International Chamber of Commerce specified a set of requirements, what the seller needs to do, what the buyer needs to do, what the bank needs to do, and so forth, step by step.
Okay. So all the control requirements for those 14 scenarios are derived automatically?
That's right. Can be derived automatically by the method.
You might want to rephrase your result part there slightly.
Because
Right.
the way it's stated, it kind of looks like you're doing case studies. And that's not,
That's
what
not
you're
what you're
looking
doing.
at here
Yeah.
is when you say scenario, what you mean is, the functionality of, there's different modes of cache in advance.
Mm.
And what you're doing is you're using your program to derive the control requirements.
Yeah.
And you're comparing it to what the ICC
Say,
recommended as control requirements.
Yeah.
And you come up with all, is it an exact match? Or do you come up with more than they do or less than they do?
Cover. I mean, I come up more. I will explain a little bit more detail in the demo. The thing is,
So this is kind of like your valid, you're comparing, you're taking the ICC as a set of experts.
yes,
And in some sense, you're testing your
method.
expert system against
right.
the ICC.
The thing is,
Right.
the thing I come here is what they say by the expert, and here is what I come up. I come up more. I will explain a
Okay.
little bit in the next couple of the slides in the
Okay.
demo.
You also might want to limit your results statement to saying everything for those 14 scenarios is.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask a
I'm sure the
question
book
here.
is
Yeah.
this big.
So when you say these control requirements, where do you derive your formalization? How do you come up with your formal model? Based on what?
The formal
You
model.
mentioned the Deontic or whatever, but those are those part of the requirements themselves?
Yes.
You can't just come up with a formula without that basis,
sure,
right?
sure.
Mhm.
Sure. Like I just say, in order to do, I come up with a Deontic process model. Deontic, sorry. This is to model the underlying purpose of the transaction. And in order to model that, we need knowledge from the contract law, from the regulation that govern the transaction, and so forth. This requires expert knowledge. Here, what I do is I look at the ICC guides, that means the law for international
Mm-hmm.
documentary credit, and I come up with what is the movement of obligation of the seller, the buyer, and so forth, sorting out the control. What is the obligation, the underlying obligation of the buyer, the seller, the bank, and so forth, okay? And come up with the Deontic process model.
Sure.